I hope you've enjoyed getting to know the chanson Doulce Memoire a little bit better. Let's think about some decorations then. This is Ricercata Secunda, the second set of divisions on this chanson. These are on the soprano parts. I'm playing them on the tenor. They fit fine on the treble, as we said before about the unornamented parts. It's just quite low. It's a bit awkward, but it's also actually slightly inconveniently high for the tenor, so we're going to have a few fingering things to discuss, but I think it's good for us. I should also have said, playing this on the tenor, it features in Alison Crumb's book of intermediate solos for the tenor viol, so if you have that book, then you have a printed edition of this particular set of divisions. We're going to start on a back bow. If you're using the edition that's in my link below, there are a couple of notes missing here in bar 3. There should be a semi-breve C sharp, minim rest, and then a minim D. Somehow or other they've got chopped out, so do write those in. The C sharp at the beginning of bar 3 and the D at the end of it. This is the top. We're going to grow the first note. Back bow. Shall we stop there a second? The bowing sort of works out, I think. I would stop this D so that you were not crossing forever backwards and forwards. That one. But then an open string because we're heading here. Now I think it's nice if these dotted notes go through rather than... I know that this has become an instrumental thing rather than the smooth vocal line it was to start with, but I think somehow it just seems a bit incongruous if we make it too instrumental in character. I think it's got to retain that vocal quality. So I really would play through this. And we're heading there, aren't we? And away to there. There are lots of places in here where we don't just get the G sharp, but we're going to get the F sharp as well, and it's such an awkward thing on a tenor. It's really awkward fingering. Fortunately, in bar 5 here, we're fine. So we will just play it in half position and use the G sharp up here, but later on we might not do that. Going on, right at the tip of the bow, that's convenient, isn't it? So fingering wise, you can hold the F down, can't you? You can hear that's what's being ornamented. If you hold the F down, it kind of highlights that, I think. I'm tempted to play the G with a 4. And we talked about the suspension in there. This is the middle of bar 8. So plenty of the F, I think, in there. Not plenty on the first one. Here we go from the top. Are you ready? I think ultimately it would be good to think about this in semi-breve pulse. But for the sake of just staying together, certainly for the metronome and picking up the speed at the beginning, I think it's better to count it in minim, so we'll do that right from the top. Here we go. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Another back bow. Take a breath. go on. You might not like the fingering here. I don't like the fingering much either. So what I've done is looked at bar 11 and said this stuff would be so much easier up here than it is across the top and the second strings with the G sharp on the first fret. It's just such an awkward place to play. So we can start that in bar 10, we can be ready and start up here with the A, can't we? Fits beautifully. Now we have a problem because what we've actually done is just move the string crossing problem higher up the string, and now the problem is between the A and the B, whereas before it was between the G sharp and the F and needing to cross backwards. So I think you've got two choices. One is that you live with it and you just stay up there. Because it suits bar 13 really, really nicely. The other is that you start here, you do 10 and 11 nicely, but then here, we could come down, couldn't we? If we come down, I think you've got to work your way back up again. So you've got some options in there. I would try various things out. Pick the one that suits you most. I do think you need to start up there. But I quite like this. Should we try it? This is bar 10. On a fourth finger. On a backbone. 3, 4. How did it go? Should we try it again? Bar 10. 3, 4. That didn't work quite so well, did it? It was close. Just test a few things out, work out where your safest shifts are. But I really would try and avoid this as much as possible. Let's go on from the middle of 14. I reckon you can come down here. Forward bow, first position, hurrah, middle of 14. Let's go on. Crossing the phrases. So the middle of 14 is kind of alright, isn't it? Fingering wise. Works out okay bowing wise as well. Another back bow on here. Now here is coming up another corner of G sharps and F sharps. So I'm going to see that coming and move up the string, and I'm doing it in bar 18 between this crotchet E and the F, and then from the F 1, 2, 4, and there we are. You absolutely do not want that to be down here in half position. Just find a nice place to come down, maybe by doing 1, 1, or maybe by just moving on your 2. Just find a nice way of coming down here, otherwise It's just it doesn't quite fit, does it, to stay up there. Let's play from the middle of 14, tip of the bow, first position, bar 14 halfway through. 1, 2. Once you're down in 20, then you can stay there. It's a nice position to have ended up in. Just one thing about bowing, at the end of 19, if you bow straight through as it comes, you end up with the last 5 quavers of 19 kind of the wrong way round. But the thing is, if you correct it and you tuck somewhere to bring it out right, you're going to have to tuck again, aren't you, in the middle of 20. So I would just live with the end of 19 being backwards, and then it comes good here. Plenty of air, and relax onto the E in the middle of the bar. And this is one where we want to come away and make space for the lower parts to start off. Shall we play from, let's go from 17 and just make the join in 20. This is 17. 3, 4, 1. Start this up here again. Just never stops, does it? Every time you think there'll be a cadence along in a minute, it just sort of steers itself out of it. So this is the end of 23. I started this up on the top fret of the 2nd string again because of what's coming here. This is a bit unfortunate. It's not the end of the world though. And here, I think it really is worth tucking the bowing because this doesn't stop. 27. I would maybe come down either 2-2 or 1-1, doesn't matter. I've just tucked the bowing in 28. It offends me having all these quavers the wrong way around, so I've just done a double forward bow. I haven't done a retake, I've just slightly thrown away the top G and carried on forward. And in 30, the first note in that bar is a harmonically interesting one, and so is the middle of the bar, and the downbeat of 31 very much weaker. Should we play together from the end of 23, middle of 23, back bow? Do you remember when we were looking at the madrigal part, we said this was the bit that risked sounding like Morse code if we weren't careful, and we said that the bass part had much more interesting things to say than we did. So we were going to grow these A's into the more interesting stuff in the middle of 24. So let's not start too loud. 23. 1, 2. 31, that's your new phrase. It comes out on a forward bow, and I quite like that because A, it's your lead, and B, it makes the first crotchet of 32 quite weak and throws the emphasis on that really funky offbeat, just quite subtly. Works out really nicely, I think. Makes all of this backwards. But it's very nice to have the A on a forward bow here. Just that, again, offbeat. It just emphasises it slightly. You've got to arrange to have enough fingers left to play the G sharp with. Don't get caught out there by not having anything left. Let's play together from the middle of 31. Forward bow. You'll start, and your first crotchet of 32 is going to be a weak one. 1, 2. Take a breath, let's go on. So the middle of 36. The first note of 35 you can really come away from. I swapped fingers because in the middle of 35 I wanted a first finger on here so that I didn't run out. Just shape this dotted minim nicely so it grows on the way up to the crotchets, so we don't get something that does nothing and then a whole host of activity, but this is active. Then the F is more important than the E. Got to choose a place to shift to get up there. There are loads of options. You could leave it quite late, couldn't you? And shift up on the top string, that's completely fine. I'm going to go a bit earlier. So I went 2 on the F, 2 on the G. And then we're up there and ready. Should we play from the middle of 35 again? Middle of 35. 1, 2. Come down. So this is the end of 41. We're conveniently back. I like another forward bow on the bottom of these quavers. As we made this shift before, why don't we do it again? So this is 2 on the F, 2 on the G. And as we made the tuck before, wherever it was at the end of 26, let's make the same tuck here because we've got to get on with these crotchets. I'm going to come down here onto this F with a 2. And I didn't do it, I intended to make the same shift we've been doing, 2 to 2 again. I think in actual fact when I played it through I did that, which is equally fine. Just make your decision and stick to it, don't do what I did and change your mind halfway through. This is the end of 41, the last minim of 41. 1, 2, 3. just the same shift we've made several times. This is the end of 47. I've just gone the same again. Just be careful in these that we don't end up with loads and loads and loads of top D. It's just not news, is it? The news is the journey you've taken to get there. And there's a real risk of just hearing lots of that kind of triumphant, I've made it to the top fret. Just be wary of it, I think. Let's play that together and go on. This is 47 from the second minim. And 1. We did in the madrigal, just change bow somewhere unobtrusive. Make the most of the things that are going on underneath you to cover the bow change. There's just a couple of things to look at in there. This is the last minim of 49. I've made the same shift again, 2-2. Now, I don't really like what I've got in here. I've put tuck here so that this, but I don't like it very much because I just want it to be unobtrusive, and I feel like if you spell it out with the tuck it gets in the way of it. But if we don't do it, I think you have to be really careful not to use very much bow on the first minim of 52 because it's going to come out as a forward bow, and I don't think there's time to do a huge retake. I just don't think it's necessary, but we do need plenty of bow on the top C. So try out both of those bowing options and see what you think. I've written the tuck in, but I think I might change my mind. This is the last minim of bar 49. 1, 2, 3. Half an hour of D later. Why don't we play it through with the madrigal underneath? You get 2 bars in from the metronome. Here comes a recording of just the bottom 3 parts of the madrigal so that you can enjoy playing the divisions along at the top.